Welcome to America's Top Rebbetzins. May this class be for Refuah Shalema, for Tziona Tehila Bat Yehudit, and also for Lear Tovia Ben Haya Ashna. I'm so happy to have on today's show Rebbetzin Daniella Rudoff. Rebbetzin Daniella is the marriage architect, helping Jewish singles of all ages, religious and secular, meet and marry the right person, and she also educates married couples as well to enhance their relationships. Thank you so much for being here. I love the term marriage architect. Please tell us more about yourself and what you do.
It's a godsend, that's for sure. The name, like when you're like branding. So I became a marriage educator through Yeshiva University training. That means Kala teaching and marriage education. And I'm a Jewish educator from the States. I taught for 10 years in Jewish day schools. And when I came to Israel, it's a cute story. Two of my sisters-in-law were like, you should become a Kala teacher. And I'm like, what? Kala teacher? So I wasn't ready for it. About 6 months later, I said to my husband, okay, today I'm going to look for a program to teach Kala teaching and, positive Jewish education. That's who I am. So I turned on my computer and in my inbox, it says Yeshiva University, where I went to school, Stern and Azrieli, Kala teaching program starting this week. And I was
Awesome.
like, what? You're not going to believe this, said to my husband. And he's like, yeah, he's used to these things with me. So I click on it thinking it's probably in Stern. And that was before the Zoom days, so I was like, oh no, how am I going to do this? I'll have to figure it out. And 2009. And so I click on it and it was actually in Yerushalayim. And I live in Beit Shemesh. We made Aliyah to Beit Shemesh 16 years ago and in 2005. And I started going the next day. Like I registered immediately. I didn't even know what I was signing up for. In fact, I get there, I have this awesome class with Leo Rebednar, Kala teaching. And then we were about to leave. I thought I was about to leave. And then there was another course and another course. Macham Pua came to teach women's health issues in the framework of halacha. And then they have a course with all these different professionals. So I got so much amazing education. I loved it. It was amazing. And I'm creating this curriculum for the Kala. Like I'm going to teach her so much, not just the halachot, of course, but then all these other things I was teaching, was learning from marriage therapist, sex therapist, guna prevention, psychologist, OBGYN, you name it. They came in, they taught their field. It was wonderful. So I'm thinking we need to teach this to women, right? Like this and then I realized January time, there was something going on in my mind, like, I'm having a problem here. There's going to be a problem. What's the problem? She's going to know so much. What is he learning? He might be learning a lot. He might be learning the same. He might be learning less. So then what happens to the couple, right? So in my head, I want to make this awesome couple, right? Like, so this happy dating couple, I like to say, I want them to continue to be a happy dating married couple. And so if there's going to be, God forbid, an imbalance in the relationship, she might be seeing that what does he know? Like, why doesn't he know this? Why doesn't he know that? And that could be an issue. Definitely. So I decided I want to go teach them something together. And often, of course, the man usually goes to his rabbi to learn, Hilchot Nida, and she goes to her Kala teacher. So what can I teach them together? So I went back and learned courses about communication skills and relationship building skills that I could teach the couple together. And so then I felt very good about that. I'm happy.
That's so important to teach a couple together. Very, very important.
Yes. So I teach the Kala, and then the couple came together before the wedding and after the wedding, so that it would be that as an engaged couple and then as a newly married couple within the first 3 months. Beautiful. Phenomenal. Okay. Phenomenal results also. So I call that marriage architect, designing marriages with education.
So smart.
Yes. Yeah. and it all came with the logo. I bought the logo. So I was figuring, when I saw it, I'm like, that's it. Marriage architect. So there's like a little blueprint there with an engagement ring or a wedding band on it. It's very cute. So and I didn't realize what would happen. About 3 years later, singles, or I should like to say people who want to get married, started coming to meet with me. And I was like, what's going on? I didn't understand. To me, I'm the marriage educator, right? And Hashem had something else in mind for me. And it happened over a process of, I would say, 9 months. I would sit with each person. They would come to meet with me an hour and a half. Now everyone's saying, oh yeah, I do that. Maybe somebody like knows their friend and they get to know them well enough. And that's amazing. It's wonderful what everybody puts into it. But this would happen again and again and again, every single day. People are coming, about 100 people in 9 months I met with for around an hour and a half to 2 hours. and getting to know them well enough to set them up. And that's when I realized, I had a line in the sand where I needed to make this either my profession or to go out and get a job. And that's when I decided, okay, there's clearly a need for it. People keep coming till today.
100%.
Like there's clearly something, word of mouth. I don't advertise except, when things are a natural like when I post on Facebook that I set up a couple, I get very excited and things like that.
That is exciting.
So those are the types of things that people know about it from me. Of course, in a conversation like this as well. But basically that's how it developed, that people just kept coming. And I established it as, what I do, my profession. And I'm an educator, which has stayed with me the entire time, meaning that's who I am. And for me, the couple, the individual has to be happy, and the couple, both obviously, both individuals and couple, but because I meet with each of them, then I get to know from each of them how they're feeling. Phenomenal concept. And I get to guide them if they need, we're friends. It's a nice environment for each person. They appreciate the personalization, boutique style, I like to say, of setting people up. And I'm in touch with them throughout the dating process, just to make sure that they're enjoying it, that they're happy in this, and, dating. And if they're not, then why? And I want to make sure that clears up if they want to continue dating, otherwise I'll take couples apart literally and make sure they don't get married. And of course, but that's what they want. I've done that. I'm like, why, would you like to go out again? Yeah, it's okay. Okay. At 7th to 8th date already, that's like not for me. So it's meaning there's no point. We want them to be happy, excited, in love, in the sense of really wanting that. So that's my style.
That's so important. It's amazing that you were able to keep who you are as an educator. You said that you were an educator in day school, so you've been a teacher. It's just maybe the subject matter that you're teaching now is different than what you taught before, but it's so important. And you went back also to get education about college teaching and how to interact with engaged couples and with, couples that are dating. So it's so important that you're doing that. Really, you're providing an amazing service for others.
Yes. Thank you. Yes, it really is. Thank God. People are happy with it. And overall, when it works for them, of course.
For sure. 100% for sure.
Meeting, meaning that I'm listening to them. I'm not going to set them up with random people, so that's also important. So it's a positive environment.
Very important. Yeah. Yes. And I know one very important aspect of relationships that you help couples to develop is communication skills. Super, super important. Men and women tend to have different styles of conveying information to each other. And I want to see if maybe you could share with us some helpful tips on what women specifically can do to effectively communicate with their boyfriends or husbands.
Okay, so this is really sensitive topic, I think, because like you're specifying the women specifically.
Yes.
I think it starts with the foundation of the attitude. Okay, it's my attitude towards my spouse and the communication I want to give, right? So it's we're talking about a couple who dated and wanted to get married because I'm hoping that they really are, have a lot of chemistry. If you ask what is chemistry, then of course, it depends on who answers first. So if the man answers first, might be a physical chemistry. And of course the women will also, but then the emotional.
Yes.
Sometimes it goes in a different pattern, but for a woman, it's more often emotionally connecting and then physically connecting, meaning that's like just physiological, biological. So, and then they grow and they depend on each other. It's like a spiraling up, I call it. Right. So where if there's physical attraction for the guy, then there becomes the emotional attraction. And if she's emotionally attracted and they're interested in the conversation, then it becomes a physical attraction, or naturally it could be a physical attraction first. I'm not saying that it can't, but that's that they feed off of each other. Yes. Okay. So I'm hoping that those engaged couples, right, that they really want to be getting married and they really like each other for both, having great conversations, connecting, and also having that romance. So being that they have that in the dating, the best, most healthy way of doing this, and this all deals with your question about communication skills, okay, is that if they continue this spiraling up, constantly building that foundation in every single second of every single day, okay? So if they are building that love for each other, and that really they're grateful for each other. That she says, you asked me about the woman towards the man, so I'm gonna relate to that right now, where she says, wow, he's amazing. I'm so grateful to have him as my husband. And what can I do for him in my mind kind of concept? Now, obviously, we all need, like, we're practical every day. Oh my gosh, I have to make it to this meeting on time. I have to get to work. I have to this, da, 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 da. Right? So obviously you have that idealism and you have practical every day. But how can we bring those together? Right?
Yes.
So I think that that's what everybody wants to know.
Exactly.
So I think that the concept has to be there, that you want to convey my message with appreciation, with gratefulness in my mind about who I'm speaking to is the most important person in the world to me.
Very important.
They're the most important person in the world to me.
Key.
And that I love him and I am so grateful for him. So the way I'm going to speak to him is going to be of a certain manner that it's showing the appreciation, and not like speaking down condescendingly, not yelling at, right? It's being embracing our relationship in our every word. So it could be that I'm frantic to get somewhere. I have to get the computer set up. And what happens to be that my husband wasn't here at that moment, it was about my son getting back the cord, So I have this, making sure that the person knows I have this meeting today, and and if it's okay, is it okay if I use this stream today, this room, and however it is, but to convey it in, these are the things that I need, and is it okay, or would you mind helping me with this, and in the sense of showing, like, speaking nicely and appreciatively, even if I'm in a frantic mode, if I'm nervous, I'm anxious. And so I think that it's the attitude and how I speak and with the smile, even like, oh my gosh, I'm nervous, or I'm excited about something, or, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous about this, but and thank you so much for dealing with how I'm feeling today. It's constantly keeping the connection. It's together, and also the eye contact. Yes. The eye contact, that's the connection. You're connecting two souls together, and if you're averting your eyes, you have no connection, right? So you're talking straight to your spouse, hopefully with a smile, because it's a more pleasant moment and not frantic about something. And it's the flirtatious. This is why I brought up the romantic connection and the emotional connection, because that romance needs to be there, not just in the bedroom. It has to be there in our interactions every single day. It has to be, who I got a call from today. Like, you're not going to believe, like, even if whether it's a good thing or it's a neutral thing, how many more days till our vacation together, like trying to, or a date night, like, would you like to go out for a date night, and speaking and with using the smile, using the eye contact, and hinting towards the romantic part of our connection. It's a really important piece, which, I think that the idea is not to abuse the communication skills, like to use it in a negative when we're in the heart, like the most anxious parts of our day. Yes. And to know how to, like, to somewhat, use I statements to say, I'm nervous, I am, running late, those I statements are really, really important, instead of, you didn't do the dishes, so now I have to do them, and now I'm going to be late. That's a whole different kind of way of speaking. And then the person, the husband, it doesn't feel so good.
Right. Oh, exactly. For sure.
Neither would the wife, right? If the husband spoke to the wife that way, it wouldn't work either.
100%.
And so, right. So these are just some examples. In fact, in Hilchot Nida, I think this is, Rav Schechter says this, I'm quoting, I think, Rabbi Rosner, who quotes Rav Schechter, about chibur. Chibur really is about, sexual connection, and the concept of passing items, from husband to wife during nida, like he can't, to Rabbanan. Okay, so they shouldn't be passing. Now the question of something directly. Question is why? If you go to a store and you pass money from the cashier who's a man to the woman. There's no halacha that she can't when she's a nida.
Right.
So one of the most beautiful things I learned and I teach is this concept that there's something called chibur, that it is more sensitive from the man, the husband and wife, because it should be that every connection that they have should have that sensuous connection. That anytime I pass something to my husband, it should be romantic. It should be seductive. It should be that it feels special.
That's very deep. That really is. That's something like that's such a nugget. It really is.
Yes. And that is why we accentuate not passing, even though it's hard. Of course it's hard. And we don't want anyone else to see that we're not passing things to each other, of course. But the beauty is when a woman goes to mikvah, then immediately they can touch or they can pass things. It's so much more special. It's so beautiful. And they're like a young couple who now can touch each other, which is like a whole, or pass things to each other, which feels very different than a couple who just, passes things all the time, even during nida, which I'm not judging people. I'm just saying that it shows the beauty, the magic of halacha, understanding this. And I think that it's powerful, this concept of chibur, that, it doesn't matter about the cashier. There's nothing there, right? So you can pass things. It's not like we touch them, but it's like we pass things. That's fine. So I just think it's so powerful and so beautiful, but it's that same concept that I said about appreciating our spouse. It's about being grateful. It's treating them special. It's trying not to speak, and it's trying to, speak in a beautiful way, trying to, even if we're nervous and, anxious, that we speak properly and in a way that's positive.
Very, very nice. And I just want to clarify just one little thing, just for people who might not be clear on Taharas Mishpaha, the family laws of purity. I just wanted to just briefly, without going into any of it, just say, so when a couple is married and the woman has her period, she's not supposed to touch her husband, like physically touch her husband. And also, as Rebbetzin Daniella was saying, she's not allowed to pass anything to her husband. So I just want to clarify that. So when she has her period, she's not allowed to do that. But once her period is over, she waits 7 days. She goes to the mikveh, then she comes home, and then she can touch her husband, and then she could pass things to her husband. And what Rebbetzin Daniella was saying was, it makes it so, so special when a couple who, can't touch for a certain part of the month and can't pass things to each other for a certain part of the month. And then then there comes a point after she comes back from the mikveh, they can. It just makes that connection almost electric when they do touch and when they do pass things to each other. It's just a very, very special thing.
Yes. So. And it's just showing, it's emphasizing the beauty of these laws, which seem like, strict, but really it's special for the marriage. That's the point.
Right. Like it keeps the fire going.
You emphasized it.
Yes.
You emphasized it also. I'm just re-emphasizing it because it sounds negative, but it really isn't. It's really a gift to the couple.
100%. 100%. And another thing that's very important is relationship building skills. I mean, there's another important aspect in creating a lasting bond between a man and a woman. And it's not just enough to be in a relationship. You have to constantly cultivate and grow the relationship so that it develops and lasts long term, especially in a marriage. And I want to see if you could tell us what are some essential must-have relationship building skills that you can share with us.
Right. So other than, of course, this big picture concept, which I think is the key, John Gottman speaks about it, of course, and he's one of the, major marriage educators, psychotherapists, or whatever he is. And also he has other concepts of, let's say, love bank. He talks about this concept of, putting coins into your bank account, right? So it's a love bank account. And what I think it's just brilliant because I'm saying, talking nicely, smiling, eye contact, a nice note, right? That I'm looking forward, or thank you so much, or happy birthday, or have a happy day kind of note. Each one of those things is a coin in your love bank, and you just keep on depositing coins. Why not, right? You want a gorgeous, beautiful relationship forever, right?
Yes.
You want to continue being that dating couple. You don't want it to be like that kind of marriage. You want it to be an exciting, beautiful, magical marriage.
Yes.
And it starts all at the beginning, but it can start anytime. Everybody can put their minds to it and start. So what he says, and here's the math, right? So anytime someone slips up, has a hard day, I would like to say that it doesn't really happen so much when you have these muscles working of all these things. But of course, we're human. We're just human. Okay. So if something happens that's negative, then take out 5 of those coins. If your bank account is so full of coins, so many coins, you take out 5 coins, it's not going to make a difference. But if you are constantly putting in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then taking out 5, it's empty.
Yes. Yes.
So we need to just keep on filling it with good. Just keep like asay tov, keep on doing it. Sur meira ve'asay tov, you just asay tov means doing good. And then sur meira is like going away from bad. So that's a concept in like a pasuk. It's a verse. So the idea is switch it is to have asay tov, do good, give gifts, give smiles, go on dates, empty the dishwasher. Hey, I emptied the dishwasher. You can say I emptied the dishwasher, right? Like you can say what you did that was good. I cleaned the car, or I filled up gas, I went to the store and I put away the groceries. That's also a good one, so just like this, everything, I took care of paying the bills. Wow. Thank you so much for paying those bills. I really appreciate it. I went swimming. I went to the gym. Thank you for going swimming. Thank you for going to the gym. What? Why would someone say thank you? Well, we do in our house because we're taking care of ourselves. So we're there for a longer period of healthy time together, please God, right? We're putting effort into it. So we say, thank you for going to the gym. Thank you for going swimming. So it's the appreciation also is positive reinforcement. And we all know positive reinforcement really, really means that it's going to happen again, yes. Right? Like if we are saying, thank you, they appreciate me. I'm not invisible. I am a someone. And that and saying, I love you, say, I love you many times a day. Now some people are going to like roll their eyes. Don't roll your eyes. Say, I love you many times a day.
We all need to be seen and appreciated. I really feel like we all, including our husbands, they need to be seen and appreciated, not just in our heads, but we have to communicate that to them. We have to make them feel loved and appreciated and seen and acknowledged for everything that they do, for, like you said, for unloading the dishwasher, for doing the dishes. And I love what you said about thank you for going to the gym. My husband actually likes to swim. That's his exercise. Everybody has
their own my exercise. Husband.
Yes.
And so I go to the gym.
Okay. I walk. My exercise is walk. I'm a long distance walker.
Me too. That's great.
Thank you.
It's amazing. What do you walk? What do you do?
In the summer times, I hike. I have a little bit more time. I go hiking, mountain climbing. But now, during the school year when my kids are not in camp, I just walk. I walk maybe like for 5 miles there, 5 miles back, depending on how much time I have. So
love it. I also do. Yeah. I just did the 10K in Jerusalem.
Oh, Mazel tov. That's exciting. Very nice.
Yeah. It's very, very good. Thank God. So I think that we value, each other, and it's such a positive thing, right? So why not say thank you? Why not appreciate?
I like that. I think that's very, very important because then the other person is taking care of themselves so that they can do more for you, So that is a very, very interesting point. I like that. But it's inevitable that at some point during a relationship, a couple is going to argue or disagree about something. Sometimes it's a small thing, like where should we go on vacation? But other times the big thing, like should we increase our observance of Judaism, in a couple that's growing and learning, maybe one of the partners wants to grow more and the other one doesn't, it could be a really big topic of disagreement in a relationship. And if it's not resolved properly, conflicts can lead to a breakup, God forbid, or a divorce. Please share some tips on what couples can do to resolve their disagreements without dissolving their relationship.
Yes. Okay. So obviously each case is very different. Okay. Yes. So in each individual couple, so if they came to speak to me, that would be different than maybe what I'm saying now. Right. But like, I'm just saying that in general.
Yes.
What I had said in the very beginning, I say again here. If they are a couple who consistently has the romance as part of their relationship, then this type of thing will not break them up so fast. Okay, if they are in love with each other, they admire each other, they trust each other, they respect each other, and they like each other, right? So if they like each other, they love each other, it's going to be a very different story.
Yes.
For everything you just said, conflict or about where to go on vacation, they want to just go on vacation to be together, right? Meaning a couple who really, really appreciates each other. So true. Sometimes one person wants to maybe go to Israel for a vacation. Another person wants to go to the Bahamas. Okay. So like, what do you do? So a couple that really loves each other, meaning, I know that it could be sticky here by saying this, because some people might say, yeah, but I still love each other. I still want to go where I want to go, you know?
Yes.
So what I would say is the concept of compromise. It's like saying, okay, let's look at the calendar. In 2021, we're going to go to, you know, we can go where you want to go. You know, that's fine. I'm happy. I statements. I'm happy to go to the Bahamas because that's where, or Israel, wherever, that's where you want to go. And I am happy, but would it be okay if we also go to the other place, you know, in 2022, you know, and then it's on the calendar and it's with love. Like there's that love and connection. You're instead of breaking each other apart, because why would they want to if they really like each other? You know, it just doesn't make sense. But that's because they built it from the beginning, right? Like building this foundation is a daily process, right? It's saying that they're the most important person to you by saying, I love you and I appreciate you and endearment, because they really care and they really are connected. So it's not going to break up in the same way if they start with this in the beginning. Now, obviously a couple who picks this up in like their 5th year of marriage, so it's a muscle. It has to be worked. Just like we go to walk every, you know, a lot, and I do, you know, reps at the gym. Those are muscles. We still have to make them stronger and stronger and stronger. It's smiling wherever you go is not an easy thing to do. But the more you work at it, and, you know, sometimes we don't feel like smiling, but we force ourselves to smile. In my dating course on my website, you know, I talk about smiling, and I've done a lot of research on it. And it really does make you a happier person if you force yourself to smile.
I heard that. Okay? Yes.
Yes. Like they did an experiment. I don't remember who did the experiment with the pencil. Like they put a pencil in these people's mouth. Yeah. Like they put the pencil there, and then it mimics the all of the endorphins, et cetera, that goes on in the body. And it really shows that they are happier people. Whatever the research shows. Yeah. And that's just one of 23 things that I have as like, you know, additional reasons to smile, the benefits of smiling. But the concept is that if you do this every day in your couplehood, you know, in your marriage, in your dating, then you're going to get really good, strong at it. So when the harder times come along, you already have strong muscles. Okay. You have strong communication muscles. So let's say, for example, that one person wants to become more religious. Okay. I have this with daters, you know, like I have daters who, you know, I'm setting up one of my VIPs now, and we're discussing the varying levels of religious that he would be willing to go out with. He's not religious, and he would be willing or interested even, you know, if someone wants to do just Friday night, you know, Friday night dinner, you know, or eat kosher at home, but, you know, some varying amounts outside the home, you know, so we're discussing all these levels, but if they have that chemistry, then this will work, you know, it'll be fine. It'll be great, you know, but if there's, and I also have another, you know, another couple actually going on another date where there are varying levels of religious. It can work if there's the chemistry, if they admire each other and whatever. So if they really have that beautiful connection, they're going to have compromises or like, you know, okay, fine. So yes, let's start going to synagogue, or let's start doing kosher at home. This is not easy for me. Like that's something that a person can say. It's not easy for me, but I'm open to trying it, right? I'm happy to see how this can work in our lives together. And just please understand this is not going to be easy for me. Okay. Like in other words, that the other person, it's important for them to see, like, I'll give you another example actually that can be daily for women when they have little kids, and the husband, which she wants a guy who goes to minyan. She wants a guy who goes to shul 3 times a day. And when she's dating, and then, you know, like, you know, so whatever. So married women, you know, who have little babies, it's not so easy when they're alone all the time with the little baby, right? Yes. And they love their little baby. And they might have other little children around too. I have 7 kids, so I know this. It's not easy when they're racing out at 4 p.m. when it's crazy time with all the kids needing dinner and everything like that. So a really great tip I like to say is you're going in on this because you want it and you want it together. Like this is the lifestyle that you want. But it still doesn't make it easy. So saying something like, I just, not at the time of crazies, like 4 p.m. when he's running out, but like at a different time, I just want to express that it's really hard for me and it's frustrating for me when it's like the kids all need help and then you rush out to shul, and I'm so proud of you for going to shul, and I appreciate that you go to shul, synagogue, to pray, because that's like a value we both share. It's like a foundational value, but it's hard for me. I have to say it's really hard for me, but I just want to let you know. So he then will know. How else would he know? He's not a mind reader.
Right.
So he might see, someone might say, oh, but he should know, he should see. You're right. Maybe he should, but also we have to express ourselves. Otherwise, how are they going to know? We have to communicate.
Yes.
So what I would suggest is his reaction, maybe men who are watching this, or for the woman to tell him maybe something like, maybe, I know you might be in your work day, because my husband works from home. So like some people's husbands who work from home now with Zoom and, with Corona, et cetera, a lot of people might be working at home.
Yes.
That he might now pay attention what he can do before he leaves, maybe during his lunch break earlier in the day, maybe to make it a little easier for her, or to take the kids a little later after he's done with his work day and say, you know what, I know it was a hard time for you today, that was harder for you, but let me do this because I know I want to give you a little bit of a break.
That's so nice. That's beautiful. It's a compromise. It's a working together. It's a communication of her desires, of her needs, without squashing her husband's needs. I think it's beautiful. It's a really good way of working together in a marriage, and and even when you're dating. Yeah, for sure.
And not yelling at the other person.
No,
I can't believe you're going to synagogue. Because like, what is that? Like we agreed, it doesn't make sense. But when you speak about it later, or even when he's racing out, thank you. I hope it's okay. Obviously, if it's a crazy something, emergency, then he doesn't go to shul. Like, okay, fine,
right.
But I'm saying on a daily basis, that he can even just give that eye contact of, I love you and thank you. Like that means so much.
Right. No, for sure. 100%. So I love inspiring success stories. I love them. And I was wondering if maybe you could please share one or two stories about a single person who is looking for the right one, or maybe a couple you have worked with who went through a conflict, but resolved it and are now happily married. Just something inspiring.
I had recently a very inspiring story. I was sitting at a chuppah that I was invited to. And the story behind the guy was that he came to meet with me for dating and mentoring, and he was in a situation in a relationship that, through, of course, conversation and him saying how he feels, and obviously a lot that goes on in a dating mentoring session, I helped him understand why he came to me was like that he was feeling uneasy about it, and I agreed, like I helped guide him. I don't want to make it sound like I told him. So I didn't tell him. It was a guiding process where basically this was not a healthy relationship. And so I was very happy that a few weeks later, he did end the relationship with her. And then a few weeks, months, whatever later, he came to meet with me, and we were talking about his, dating situation that he was in. And there were some things that, I helped guide him with. And I also said, well, this one really, really does look like he was excited about her and he was interested in her. And it was very clear to me, because I do this all the time, relationships and making sure that people are happy together and really understanding how people are feeling when they're speaking. So it's like a physical therapist for relationships,
yes,
detecting, like all it. So, and I'm like, and I think that this one, has potential if everything else checks out. And they're happily married today.
Baruch Hashem, thank God, it's amazing.
And the reason I bring this specific case up, not only that it's, within the last year, let's just say, I don't want to give a specific time for people to figure out who it is. But that's one reason. But the other reason, to me, it was it's a divine providence story, because people sometimes feel, oh my gosh, if I get out of this relationship, then will I ever find somebody? Will I ever get married? Will I ever, meet the right one for me? Will I ever meet somebody better, And then I'm getting the chills, because it's so beautiful. It's so divine that then when he meets his wife and he's happy, he likes her, he loves her, he feels like his body feels happy. Like he's not like in that, naughty feeling in his stomach, of something's wrong here. That's a very dangerous place to be. So, and he didn't understand it. He didn't understand why he's feeling this, because everything, she checks all those boxes, right? But like, if you're just, it doesn't matter. It has, as long as it's that chemistry that we go back to square one with the ways discussed, that has to be there. That not just he had the chemistry, but like what I mean in terms of attraction, but what I mean is the chemistry of everything working together, so the attraction, the emotional connection, etc. So, and nothing bothering you. Like there's something bothering you, and it hinders it to be a positive relationship, healthy relationship. So I think that that's such a one of the most inspiring stories, because I got to see full circle. Yes. I got to see full circle, and they are so sweet and happily married. And I know they're happily married. I know when I know things, I know they really are.
Oh, that's so nice. It's very, I'm so happy for them.
Yeah. So that's one story. Another one is one of my couples who I set up. He was 39 when he came to meet with me, and she was 41 when I set them up. Wow. And I asked him about age, and he was very happy. And, it didn't matter to him, the age range. And they're happily married today. And that's one of my couples. But I find that inspiring, because you asked me like a specific person who may not have, felt like they're ever going to get married, because she was in shock. She was in shock. She couldn't believe I remembered her. I'm like, of course I remember you. It's like yesterday, but it was like 3 years before that I met her. But to me, it's like yesterday, right. So it's, it just seemed like a good idea, so it's, and it is, thank God. So it's inspiring. I have so many great stories. I could keep you here for like months.
Well, wonderful. No, that's great. That's perfect. That's really perfect. I really appreciate you sharing those stories with us and the tips. And thank you so much, Rebbetzin Daniella, for taking the time to join us on America's Top Rebbetzins. We very, very much appreciate you being here. May this class be for Refuah Shalema, for Tehillah Bat Yehudit, and also for Lior Tovia Ben Haya Ashna. And if anyone has any questions or comments about the podcast, or if anyone would like to sponsor a future podcast, please email us at atrebbetzins@gmail.com. That's atrebbetzins@gmail.com. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Take care, Vera. So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
You're awesome. You're doing amazing things.
Thank you.